Every morning you open your eyes, something extraordinary happens. And yet most days, you don't even notice. Life, with all its chaos and imperfection, rushes by like a river you're too busy to stand beside, too distracted to truly see. In a world that teaches you to chase endlessly, more success, more recognition, more control, it's easy to forget that the very fact you are breathing today is itself a miracle stitched from countless acts of resilience, perseverance, and hope. You are not here by accident. You are the living testament to centuries of quiet strength, small acts of survival, and dreams whispered across generations. But in the noise of daily life, in the pressure to be faster, better, stronger, the miracle of existence slips through your fingers without a second thought. That's why today's journey matters. Together, we will walk through the forgotten truths Stoic philosophy has long guarded. Truths that will reconnect you to your own sacredness, anchor you in gratitude, and fortify your soul against the currents of modern restlessness. You will see how life's fragility magnifies its worth, how adversity reveals hidden strength, and how every small moment you often overlook carries the power to transform your entire existence. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed, disconnected, or simply tired of running after what never truly satisfies, stay with me. There is quiet strength waiting within you, and today, you will remember why you are always, already, a miracle. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and share your own reflections below. Your story matters more than you know. 1. Life's fragility makes every moment more precious. There is a silent truth threading through every breath you take, a truth so easily forgotten in the rush of modern life. Nothing you have today is promised tomorrow. Life's fragility is not an idea reserved for poetry or philosophy. It is the fundamental law that governs every second of your existence. Yet, surrounded by convenience and noise, it becomes effortless to believe that the people you love, the comforts you enjoy, even your own strength and health, will always be there. We walk through our days assuming we have time, plenty of time, until the day when time runs out without warning. Understanding life's fragility is not meant to darken your spirit. It is meant to wake you up to the immense beauty that exists precisely because it is fleeting. It reminds you that every ordinary morning holds extraordinary value simply because it will never come again. When you allow yourself to sit with this truth, not to fear it, but to absorb it, you begin to see the world differently. The Stoic philosophy about gratitude teaches that real strength comes not from controlling life's outcomes, but from appreciating the gift of being alive at all. A quiet dinner with your family, a conversation with a friend, even the solitary walk from your car to your front door under the evening sky, all become sacred once you realize they are not guaranteed. What seems mundane today may someday be the memory you would give anything to relive. A missed call you forgot to return, a hug you postponed until tomorrow, a simple goodbye you rushed through without looking back. When you grasp the fragile nature of existence, you begin to live with a reverence that most people spend a lifetime searching for, but rarely find. The danger of ignoring this reality is not just regret, it is the slow erosion of presence. You fall into mechanical living, waking up, working, scrolling, sleeping, without ever truly touching the miracle of your own life. Stoicism reminds us that awareness is the gateway to wisdom, and nothing demands more awareness than the fleeting nature of your days. If you knew you had only one more sunrise to witness, would you still sleepwalk through your morning? Would you still waste precious energy on resentment, worry, or things beyond your control? Or would you lean into the sheer wonder of being able to witness light breaking across the sky, to feel air filling your lungs, to hear the voice of someone you love, even just once more? There are moments that brand themselves onto your memory, not because they were planned or grand, but because they caught you off guard with their raw, unfiltered truth. You sit beside a hospital bed, holding a frail hand that once gripped yours so firmly. You stand at a gravesite, wondering how someone who filled so much space in your life could now be so achingly absent. You stare at an empty chair during dinner, feeling the echo of laughter that once filled the room. In those moments, the illusion of permanence shatters, and what's left behind is something infinitely more valuable than certainty. Gratitude for the miracle that was, and the miracle that still is. Applying this awareness daily is not a grand task. It is not reserved for moments of tragedy. It happens in the small choices you make each day. When you pause to truly taste your morning coffee instead of gulping it down between meetings. When you put your phone away to listen, really listen, to your child talk about their day. When you take a moment to stand outside, even in the rain, feeling the cold droplets on your skin and remembering that to feel anything at all is a blessing. These moments do not slow life down, but they deepen it. They root you in a kind of unshakable peace that does not depend on things going your way, but rather on your ability to cherish whatever way life unfolds. Stoic practices for stress management often center around control, learning what is within your power and what is not. But beneath that teaching is something even more essential, an invitation to fall in love with the rawness of life itself. Not the sanitized, idealized version of living we chase on screens and social media, but the messy, unpredictable, breathtakingly fragile experience of being human. You cannot prevent time from slipping through your fingers. You cannot guarantee that the people you love will always be there when you turn around. But you can choose, with conscious intention, to honor them while you still can. You can choose to live so fully, so attentively, that even if everything were to fall away tomorrow, you would not look back and feel that you had squandered the miracle entrusted to you. Life's fragility does not make it weaker. It makes it sacred. It reminds you that a single ordinary day, walking your dog, washing dishes, reading a book under a fading afternoon sun, is already a masterpiece in motion. When you start to see your life through this lens, you no longer wait for someday to feel grateful. You no longer need perfect conditions to celebrate existence. Every moment, no matter how simple, becomes a clear, shining thread woven into the vast tapestry of human resilience and hope. The truth is, you were never meant to be here forever, and that's what makes your time here meaningful beyond measure. Life is not a promise, it is a gift, fragile and fleeting and astonishingly beautiful. So live it awake, love fully, forgive quickly, hold the ones who matter a little closer, and walk through your days with eyes wide open. Because once you begin to recognize how fragile life truly is, you start to live not out of fear, but out of fierce, unwavering gratitude. And that changes everything. 2. Adversity reveals the miracle of inner strength. True strength does not reveal itself in times of ease, but rises, silent and undeniable, when everything you once depended on begins to crumble. It is easy to believe you are resilient when life flows smoothly, when the world answers your plans with obedience, when health, comfort, and familiar routines shield you from the harsher winds of existence. Yet real strength, strength the kind that Stoic philosophy venerates, the kind that roots itself deep into the marrow of who you are, emerges only when adversity strips away the illusions, when you are forced to stand alone with nothing but the quiet fire inside you. In moments of collapse, of unexpected loss, of doors slammed shut and paths disappearing into fog, you find out not who you hoped you were, but who you truly are. When life deals its sharpest blows, it is tempting to view them as punishments or signs of failure. Modern culture often whispers that happiness should be effortless, that discomfort is a mistake to be corrected, not a season to be endured. But the Stoics knew otherwise. They taught that adversity is not your enemy. It is the training ground for your character. The pain you experience when you lose what you thought you needed, when you watch long-held dreams disintegrate, when you are forced to rebuild from the ashes, is not a signal of defeat. It is life's way of forging something inside you that comfort could never create, an inner strength that is unshakable, humble, and deeply alive. Every man walking the earth today who carries quiet power, who moves through chaos with steady hands and clear eyes, was once broken open by life. Not shattered in a way that made him smaller, but in a way that forced his soul to expand, to grow wider, deeper, stronger. The miracle is not that you survive suffering. The miracle is what suffering pulls out of you. Hidden reserves of courage, resilience, and wisdom that you would have never touched had life remained soft and easy. Like a sword must face the fire to gain its sharpness. Like a muscle must strain under resistance to grow strong. Your spirit, too, must encounter hardship to reveal its true capacity. The truth is, you do not build emotional strength by merely reading about Stoic practices or by wishing for a peaceful life. You build it when your plans fall apart and you choose to rebuild anyway, when betrayal wounds you and you choose to trust again, when the weight of loneliness tries to crush your chest and you stand upright in your own silent dignity. These moments, brutal as they may feel, are sacred because they are the forge where the miracle of inner resilience is hammered into existence. They are proof that adversity is not life abandoning you. It is life inviting you into the deeper chambers of your own potential. There are people who have walked through fire, illness, financial ruin, heartbreak, loss of loved ones, and somehow come out with a gentleness in their gaze that did not exist before. There is a particular humility and groundedness in those who have been stripped bare and chose to love life even more fiercely afterward. They are not reckless optimists. They are people who have stared into the abyss, felt its cold breath, and realized that even there, especially there, they could summon meaning, purpose, and gratitude. They are living proof that strength is not always loud or aggressive. Sometimes it is simply the quiet refusal to give up, the simple act of getting up one more time than you fall. Applying this to your own life begins not by wishing adversity away, but by meeting it with the mindset of a Stoic. When trials come, instead of asking, "Why me?" you learn to ask, "What strength is being called out of me now?" Instead of shrinking back into bitterness or self-pity, you step forward with clarity, knowing that discomfort is not your enemy, but your silent teacher. You start to see each hardship not as an unfair interruption of your plans, but as a divine chiseling, a sacred shaping of the person you were meant to become. And as you move through each difficulty, not perfectly, not without fear, but with steady perseverance, you build an inner life that no external circumstance can destroy. This approach does not mean denying your pain. Stoicism is not emotional numbness, it is emotional mastery. It teaches you to feel sorrow without drowning in it, to acknowledge fear without surrendering to it, to carry disappointment without allowing it to rot your hope. It invites you to move through grief and anger and loss with the full weight of your humanity intact, yet guided always by reason, gratitude, and resilience. Each scar you accumulate along the way is not a blemish but a badge, a testament to the unbreakable parts of you, the parts that grew precisely because they were tested. Life's fragility, as we explored earlier, makes every moment precious, but it is adversity that gives those moments their full depth. Without challenge, appreciation remains shallow. Without struggle, gratitude remains theoretical. Adversity carves out the deeper wells within you from which true wisdom and compassion can flow. It reminds you that living fully is not about preserving comfort at all costs, but about embracing the beautiful, painful, miraculous unfolding of your soul through every season, light or dark. In the end, the miracle is not that you live a life without storms. The miracle is that within the storms, you discover you are far stronger, far wiser, and far more resilient than you ever believed possible. Your strength was never in avoiding hardship. It was always hidden quietly within you, waiting for the day you would need it most and daring you to uncover it. In facing adversity with open eyes and an open heart, you do not just survive, you are transformed into a living testament of the fierce, breathtaking miracle of human endurance. 3. You carry the dreams and courage of generations beneath your daily routines. Beneath every step you take and every breath you draw, there hums a silent legacy, a legacy of countless souls who came before you, who dreamed, who fought, who endured so that you could live the life you live today. It is easy to move through modern life believing you stand alone, an isolated figure shaped only by your own choices and efforts. Yet the truth runs deeper and pulses stronger. You are not here by your strength alone. You are the living extension of those who weathered storms you'll never have to face, who whispered hopes into the future they would never see, trusting that somehow, someday, you would inherit the ground they struggled to hold. The importance of recognizing this lineage is not about sentimentality. It is about awakening to a truth that binds you to something much larger than yourself. Life's fragility, which we explored before, becomes even more profound when you realize that your very existence is stitched together from thousands of fragile lives that somehow endured. The blood that moves through your veins, the resilience that anchors your heart, the spark of your consciousness, All of it is a culmination of sacrifices made by those who endured hardships you can scarcely imagine. They fought not just for survival, but for a future they hoped would be kinder, freer, more filled with opportunity. You are that future. And within you, their courage lives on. Throughout history, there have been men and women who tilled dry fields with cracked hands, who crossed oceans in boats barely fit for the journey, who hid in basements during wars, who stood in breadlines during depressions, who sang lullabies to children even when their own hearts were heavy with fear. They endured famine, sickness, persecution, and displacement. They loved fiercely and suffered quietly. They built homes from dust and dreams, stitched clothes from scraps, and taught themselves to read by candlelight when books were rare and forbidden. None of these acts was easy. Each one required immense strength and an unbreakable spirit of perseverance. And all of that silent, unseen courage flows directly into you. When Stoic philosophers spoke of resilience and gratitude, they were not speaking from the luxury of ease. They were speaking from lived experience in times of war, exile, political chaos, and personal loss. They understood that life, at its core, is a torch passed hand to hand across centuries, each bearer responsible not for perfect conditions but for carrying the flame with honor. In your moments of doubt, when the weight of modern expectations feels unbearable, remember this: you carry a strength within you that has already endured countless winters, wars, and storms. You are not starting from nothing. You are not standing on empty ground. You are standing on the shoulders of generations who refused to let the darkness swallow them. Connecting deeply to this truth reshapes the way you move through adversity today. When challenges arise, you can meet them not as isolated battles, but as part of a long tradition of perseverance. Every act of patience when you could snap, every choice to show kindness when it would be easier to turn away, every moment you choose to stay steady when fear tries to unravel you. These are not just personal victories. They are extensions of an ancient, sacred legacy. Your daily struggles, no matter how small they seem, are threads woven into a larger tapestry that stretches backward and forward beyond your view. Understanding that you carry the dreams and courage of generations also reignites a sense of purpose. Life becomes less about individual achievement and more about honoring those silent hands that made your existence possible. Their sacrifices call you not toward perfection, but toward living with integrity, toward resilience without bitterness, toward courage without cruelty. Stoic philosophy about gratitude reminds you that the true debt you owe is not material success, but the daily effort to live well, to embody the strength, humility, and perseverance that echo through your bloodline. There will be moments, inevitably, when you feel isolated, when setbacks and failures tempt you to believe you are alone in your struggle. It is in those moments you must remember, you were never alone. You were never meant to bear the journey unaided. The courage that lifted broken bodies from battlefields, that coaxed crops from dry earth, that found songs even in prisons, it beats quietly inside you, waiting to be called upon. You are the living answer to prayers whispered by people whose names you may never know, but whose hopes shaped the very breath you now take for granted. Living with this awareness changes how you view your responsibility. Each day you rise as another opportunity to honor the resilience you inherited, to move through the world with quiet strength, to light the path a little brighter for those who will come after you. Whether through small acts of kindness, moments of courage and difficulty, or simply the steadfast decision to keep moving forward even when the road feels steep, you are contributing to the unbroken chain. You are becoming the ancestor someone else will one day look back upon with gratitude. And when your own time here ends, as it must, because life is fleeting, what you leave behind will not be measured by titles or possessions. It will be measured by how you carried the dreams entrusted to you, by the strength you summoned in the unseen battles of your own life, by the way you nurtured the sacred fire passed down to you. Your courage today, your gratitude, your resilience, will ripple forward into lives you will never meet, continuing the miracle that began long before you were born. In every moment you choose honor over comfort, perseverance over resignation, love over fear. You breathe new life into the courage of those who came before. You make their sacrifices mean something enduring. And in doing so, you fulfill a sacred trust. You carry their dreams, and you carry them well. For the smallest moments are proof of life's miracle. It is tempting to believe that life's miracles are hidden only within grand achievements or rare, breathtaking events. Yet the deepest truths often reside in the quietest corners of our days, in the moments so ordinary that we pass through them half asleep, never realizing they are the very essence of being alive. The real miracle is not waiting for some future triumph. It is unfolding quietly in the smallest gestures, in the unseen details, in the heartbeat of daily life. When you slow down enough to notice, you find that existence itself, in its purest form, is already abundant with wonder. Modern life pushes you into a relentless forward motion, urging you to chase goals, accumulate milestones, and measure your days by visible results. In the pursuit of what's next, it is easy to overlook the extraordinary nature of what is happening right now. Stoic philosophy about gratitude teaches us to redirect our gaze, not toward what we lack, but toward what already fills our lives with silent richness. A ray of morning light slipping across the kitchen floor, the sound of rain tapping against the window, the soft laughter of someone you love floating through a quiet room. These are not background noises to a more important story. They are the story. They are life, whispering to you in every breath. I am here. I am yours. Notice me. You may think you need a grand reason to feel awe, a promotion, a breathtaking view, a rare victory. But true awe is born in the everyday moments you have been taught to dismiss. Drinking a cup of coffee, not out of habit but with full awareness, feeling its warmth in your hands, the aroma filling your senses, the simple pleasure of nourishment in the early stillness. Walking outside and feeling the air shift against your skin, sensing the subtle texture of the breeze, recognizing the miracle that you can feel anything at all. These experiences seem so small that they often escape your memory, yet when gathered, they form the foundation of a life truly lived, with presence, appreciation, and silent strength. The power of gratitude daily lies not in waiting for extraordinary blessings, but in seeing ordinary life as already extraordinary. Stoicism invites you to stand still long enough to witness the present, to train your eyes to see the invisible abundance that most walk past. When you do, you discover that your life is not lacking in miracles. It is overflowing with them. They have simply been hiding in plain sight. A missed moment of connection, a sunset overlooked because you were too distracted, a hug rushed because you were thinking of the next task, each one a quiet offering from life that you can learn to receive more fully. Living with this awareness transforms how you experience time. Instead of life becoming a blur of indistinguishable days, each day regains its texture, its sacred weight. Even amidst the noise and busyness, you can create pockets of stillness, moments where you reconnect with the fragile miracle of simply being here. A glance between strangers that acknowledges shared humanity. The sound of your own footsteps on a quiet street. The steady beating of your heart, asking nothing of you but your noticing. These are not small things. These are the threads from which meaning, resilience, and inner peace are woven. This is not to say that recognizing the miracle of small moments will shield you from hardship. Life remains unpredictable, and suffering touches every life at some point. But when you have cultivated the habit of seeing, when you have trained your mind to savor even the most fleeting graces, you are better equipped to endure the darker seasons. You learn to carry gratitude like a quiet flame through the storms. You build a resilience that is not loud or boastful, but steady and enduring, anchored not in denial of pain, but in a deeper love for the fleeting, fragile, fiercely beautiful reality of existence itself. There is no need to search far for proof that life is a miracle. It is there each time you wake and realize you have been gifted another morning. It is there in the ability to hear the laughter of a child, to feel the coolness of water against your skin, to taste the richness of simple food. Even sorrow, even longing, even the ache of missing someone you love, all are signs that you are alive, that your heart still beats with tenderness and memory. The Stoics knew that to live wisely was not to strip life of feeling, but to deepen one's reverence for it, to move through joy and suffering alike, with eyes open, grounded in appreciation for the astonishing gift of awareness. When you live this way, your priorities shift. Success is no longer measured solely by external achievements, but by the depth of your presence in each fleeting hour. A slow afternoon spent with a loved one becomes more valuable than 100 unchecked items on your to-do list. A quiet walk beneath a vast, starlit sky becomes more precious than accolades or possessions. By anchoring yourself in the smallest moments, you no longer live waiting for life to begin. You live knowing that it already has, that it is unfolding around you and within you every single day. The miracle of your life is not something you have to earn. It is not something distant that you must strive to reach. It is already here, stitched invisibly into every ordinary day you are lucky enough to witness. And once you begin to recognize it, once you teach yourself to stay awake to it, you will never again need to search for meaning outside yourself. You will find it waiting quietly in every sunrise, every kind word, every breath, every step. The smallest moments, when seen with clear eyes and a grateful heart, are not small at all. They are everything. 5. Awareness of death teaches deeper love for life. There is a silent companion that walks with you from the moment you are born, one that you are taught to ignore, to fear, or to keep at the very edge of your awareness. The certainty of death. Yet in pushing this reality away, in pretending you are immune to it, you lose something essential, not just an acceptance of your mortality, but the key to a deeper, fiercer love for life itself. Awareness of death, when approached with open eyes and a willing heart, does not darken your days. It illuminates them. It strips away the trivial, sharpens your appreciation, and awakens you to the breathtaking miracle of simply being here, even for a little while. Modern life often tempts you to live as if you had endless time, as if there will always be another sunrise, another apology, another chance to say, "I love you." But the Stoics, with their quiet and unsparing wisdom, insisted that we remember death daily, not to despair, but to truly live. Memento mori, they whispered. Remember, you must die. It was not a morbid chant. It was a call to urgency, to clarity, to gratitude. By facing the reality that life is fleeting, you are freed from the illusion that you can afford to waste it. Every moment becomes more vivid. Every connection becomes more precious. Every choice carries the weight it deserves. When you walk through your days without acknowledging their fragility, it becomes easy to postpone living. You tell yourself there will be a better time to call your parents, to forgive a friend, to take the trip, to pursue the dream that tugs quietly at your heart. You fall into the trap of someday thinking. Yet someday is a ghost, a horizon that retreats as you move toward it. There is only today, only this breath, only this chance to love, to give, to feel, to be. Death is the reminder that someday is not promised. It is the fierce, compassionate nudge that tells you, now matters more than you dare to believe. Grasping this truth changes not only how you live, but how you love. When you understand that the people around you are temporary gifts, not permanent fixtures, you hold them differently. You listen more fully. You forgive more readily. You cherish the small rituals, the goodbye kiss before work, the shared laughter over an inside joke, the quiet presence of someone sitting beside you on a tough day, because you know these moments are not endless. Their scarcity makes them sacred. Death, paradoxically, teaches you to love without holding back, to pour yourself into life, not cautiously, but with an open, courageous heart. The awareness of mortality also reframes how you face adversity. When you realize how short and precious your time is, petty grievances lose their hold. Arguments that once seemed worth winning